What instantly ages someone? Grief. Nothing ages you like grief. Yep, when my oldest brother died, my dad went from jet black hair to gray pretty quickly. My brother died 2 years ago. I aged so much since and now look older than some friends of mine who are 15 years older than me. On top of not sleeping well due to autoimmune issues, I notice new gray hairs every day. Grief, lack of sleep, stress. I have the trio and it's just awful. Losing a sibling is a nightmare, especially at a young age. My deepest sympathies. 19 years ago my husband's son was born. Exactly a month later his wife passed from skin cancer. She had this from everyone. From climbing the corporate ladder to greeting unemployed single dad living back with his parents in the span of a month. His hair also went from black to white in less than a year. My mom died less than 2 months ago. One symptoms I was not expecting was the physical aches and pains associated with grief. Oh, and the fatigue can be brutal. I'm only 35 but I feel much older physically, mentally been there for some time throughout her 16-year illness, being a caregiver for part of that time. Edit. Thank you all for your kindness. I'm so sorry to everyone that's had to endure grief. It's a pain that I could never have known before this. I was also a caretaker for both my parents. I'm also 35 and feel more like 95. My whole immediate family is now deceased. Wow, this blew up. I love all your stories and I'm so sorry to whoever has buried one or both of their parents, grandparents, or guardians. Or to anyone who has had a long road caretaking. Remember you are important too and to take care of yourself best you can. Back pain. You can't move like a young person if your back hurts. You're as old as your back. Or your knees. Sucks so bad. I had a breast reduction almost 5 years ago and I feel younger now, at 30, than I did at 18. A hearty FCKU to every doctor that ever told me to just try yoga or Pilates. Lack of sleep. That's why it's called beauty sleep. Must be why I'm so ugly. Yep. Good sleepers look so young and chipper. Nah, I get 8 hours every night and still look like a dying Victorian child. But you did say child. Fking cancer. Have watched my brother-in-law age 30 years in a month. I have been a witness to this many times. 30 years in a month is an accurate measurement. But the last 20 years happens in like 3 days if it's towards the end. My aunt was 40 and sitting next to my 97-year-old great-grandmother. You could easily tell which one was gonna live to be 100. Hair loss. Not me personally, but I used to work with a guy who I swore was like 35, and he was 19. Poor kid. When I have an interview, I let my baldness show a little bit. I look older, and I'm taken more seriously by recruiters that way. I have the same strategy but with glasses. People assume you're smarter if you're wearing glasses. Little do they know. Buccal fat removal. Surprised this wasn't higher up. People with baby cheeks don't realize how well they will serve them 30 years down the line when their buddies who teased them for it look like Skeletor. Stress. When I was younger and first entered the real world, I remember working with a white-haired woman that had an always tired look about her. She had a picture of her daughter on her desk, young, blonde, that looked so incredibly much like her I mentioned it once. Turned out that wasn't her daughter, but was her prior to her going through the FBI academy. Why would someone have a photo of themselves on their desk? To remember when they were happy and carefree? I was gonna say the way you dress, but it went real dark in the comments. This, though. I tried a lighter blonde color and felt like it aged me 15 years. Reds make me look timeless. I constantly get treated like I don't know anything because I have a young face. I dyed my hair gray and suddenly people treat me like an adult. It's wonderful. I just did 4 years in prison and that was fucking stressful. I feel like I've aged a lot. Yikes, friend. Welcome back. Hope you're adjusting okay? Thanks. I appreciate that. Most people are assholes when I tell my story. Yeah, I'm adjusting okay. Being sober is finally something I like. Meth and alcohol. 20 out of 20 of the people that live in the meth house next door would agree. I see young people get sucked in. They come around all nice and young, then after a while their car is gone but they're still there. Within a year not only do they age, but their body composition, gait, and posture are all well aged. I'd imagine living next door to a meth house doesn't do much for restricting aging. We had 3 parents and adult son, alcoholics next door for a year and that was a nightmare of sleepless nights listening to them screaming at each other and breaking things. Troubleshooting printer problems. I swear these devilish machines only exist to trigger me to smithereens. A couple years ago I decided to officially give up on having a personal printer and only use the one at the library because when it fucks up, it's someone else's problem. I still have my old printer and I've considered dropping it off my roof for fun. I had the opportunity to throw one out of a 3rd-story window. The absolute joy I felt watching that asshole machine soar through the air and smash to smithereens was the best kind of natural high. It's been 15 years and I still get goosebumps thinking about it. Death of a child. War. Edit, I may have opened up an avenue to share pain through my comment and want anyone who is feeling grief that you can DM me, whether it be the loss of a loved one or through the ravages of war. I am sincerely praying for those grieving tonight and sending virtual hugs. I just lost my 25-year-old son a few weeks ago. I feel like I'm not really living in the same reality anymore. My whole existence is punctuated every few minutes by thoughts, feelings, regrets, and utter sorrow for a loss I never anticipated would happen. The only consolation for me these days is that it's no longer every few seconds that I feel this profound grief, stress, grief, trauma, mental illness, losing a loved one way before their time at a young age, parent, sibling, close friend, having a spouse that contributes nothing to your relationship and allows your family to slip further and further into debt without caring that you're all only a couple of bills away from bankruptcy. Very specific. Sorry if that's the situation you're in. Smoking. I had to scroll way too far down this list to find this. Cigarettes will absolutely age a person incredibly efficiently, both visually and health-wise. My sister smokes a lot and she's 5 years younger than me. She looks 15 years older and constant health issues. Children. Definitely, I got my first gray hairs just after I had kids. Too dark of a tan, fake or real. I have seen some seriously leathery people on the beach, lol. I have a coworker who does tanning beds for 2 months before her yearly spring cruise every year, and it's a real shame. Instead of coming back looking like she was on vacation, she just looks like she laid in a tanning bed for 4 months, leathery and a weird brown shade the skin doesn't normally turn. I opt for sunscreen if I go somewhere warm, it works fine. Thanks for watching. In the comments below the video, write what confessions do you know that instantly age a person.